Hi, this is Amy Adams. Welcome to the podcast, read by me, written by Del Sweet. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved in their entirety. Before the plagues, somewhere in the world, overclocking. SS V2765. "Stay down next to the friggin' bank, Hunter," Beaker yelled. Beaker could see that Hunter probably wouldn't be hanging around for much longer. He didn't have the wits that Simpson had had, and a firefight was no place to have to babysit. Why was it that he always ended up with all the idiots anyway? They had been pinned down in this particular position, a sandy beachhead, for 4 days. Sand and water in front of them, mountain and jungle behind them. They were on the other side of a river, and if the man upstairs, the man that pulled all the strings, Beaker liked to think, didn't do something damn soon, they might not see 5. The fire was just as heavy as it had been on the first day, non-stop, round after round of machine gun fire, and mortar rounds that came so fast it was hard to tell when one ended and another began. Hunter crawled over, eating some dirt as he came, but at least he had crawled. The idiot had walked the first few times, like he was out on a damn Sunday stroll. "Sergeant Beaker," he whisper-yelled over the sound of gunfire. "Shouldn't we maybe take the stuff now, sir?" "Hey, screw you. If I say we lay low, we lay low. We take it like we're supposed to. No deviations on my watch. Now, shut up and crawl your white ass back over to your position, mister. Now!" The stuff was V2765. The thing was, Hunter had already had it at least once. The rest of them hadn't and never would. But Hunter had come with the vial clearly marked as a booster shot. He didn't need that yet. Hunter went. He didn't have to be told twice. Beaker was one mean son of a bitch, and he had absolutely no desire to mess with him. Even so, this whole situation didn't set well in his mind, and that was mainly due to the fact that it didn't make any sense. And how in hell could it? He asked himself. There was no answer, because there could be no answer at all. 15 days ago he had been safe and sound in... It wouldn't come. Someplace. He had been someplace. Not here. And he had been... whatever he had been, or wherever he had been, it just wouldn't come. He could almost remember, like it was right there, just beyond memories. He could remember waking up here with Beaker, Phillips, and Ronson, in the middle of... Where am I? He asked himself, but he didn't know that either. And they weren't disposed to tell him. Other than waking up in the middle of this firefight, he could remember nothing. He made the outside perimeter, curled up into a near ball as he pressed himself into the dirt embankment. Jungle all around. Not the Middle East, then. Where he had been. Had he been in the Middle East? Fighting? He couldn't make the information come to him, but it seemed as though it was just barely out of reach like all the rest of it. Blue chip, volunteer for... Thoughts floating around in his head. They had given him a shot, some sort of a booster. Yes, a booster shot. For what? He asked himself, but he had no idea. "About time," Beaker yelled over the roar of gunfire. They had been pinned down for the last several hours with heavy fire. It had finally begun to fall off somewhat, and it was time to make a move. Beaker was no fool. He had every intention of getting his men the hell out, including that test case they had laid on him. He had already lost 4 good men on this mission. He couldn't see losing any more. He looked across the short, smoky distance, directly into Ronson's eyes, and signaled left, away from the sand, towards the jungle that pressed in from behind them. A quick sideways flick of his own eyes told him that Hunter and Phillips had caught it too. Beaker signaled Ronson out first, then Phillips, and then Hunter. It was a slow go, belly crawl for the first few 100 yards. The bullets continued to whine above them, but they all made it in one piece. 200 yards in, they were able to stand, the jungle finally offering some protection. Beaker led the way out quickly, but carefully, through the lush greenery. The others fell in behind him silently. 2 miles further through the dense jungle, and they finally lost the distant sounds of gunfire, and the jungle fell nearly silent. They fell silent themselves, moving as quietly as they could from tree to tree, aware of the noises that surrounded them. A short while later, when the gunfire had completely fallen off, the jungle seemed to come back to life. Bird calls and the ever-present monkey chatter. That was a good sign to Beaker. If the jungle was full of soldiers, the birds sure wouldn't be singing. They pushed on through the night, and morning found them in a small village with a main trail running through the middle of it. They walked quietly through the village end to end, burned out, empty, but a good place to rest up. "Oh man," Ronson complained. "Crazy." Beaker agreed wearily. He was leaned back against the side of a burned-out hut, smoking a cigarette he'd pulled from inside his jacket. Hunter didn't have the slightest idea of where they were, let alone what they were talking about. Beaker had led them through the jungle, and at first light they had come upon this village. They had crept in warily, ready for whatever lay before them. But there had been no need. It was empty. A couple of dozen scattered bodies, busy gathering flies, burned-out huts. The design wasn't familiar to him. He had thought Beaker would move on. He hadn't. They were still here. But where was here, and how had Beaker found it? It eluded Hunter. "Sure did. Thought we was done," Phillips agreed. "Yeah, well, we made it this far," Ronson said. He grinned, and then the grin turned into a full-fledged smile, and he began to laugh. Phillips joined him, and a second later, when Hunter was sure Beaker was going to open his mouth and tell him all to shut up, he started laughing too. "Oh, it's good. Look at him," Ronson said, holding his side and pointing at Hunter. "He don't have a clue." That seemed to drive all of them into hysteria, Hunter saw, including Beaker, who was usually hard-nosed and moody. He was doubled over, too, holding his sides, tears squirting from his eyes. "Is that true?" Beaker asked at last, once he managed to get the laughter somewhat under control. "Is that your friggin' problem, is it, Hunter? You don't have a clue?" He stopped laughing abruptly, and within seconds Ronson and Phillips chuckled to a stop. "Do you have the slightest idea where your ass is?" Beaker asked seriously. "No. Well, a jungle, I guess," Hunter answered. "No, well, it could be a jungle, I guess," Ronson mimicked in a high falsetto. "Is it?" Hunter ventured in an ear whisper. "Look," Beaker waited for silence. "Take a break. It's going to get worse. Why don't you have a smoke and kick back? Enjoy the break." "Yeah, well, the thing is that I don't smoke. It's bad for your lungs. I'm pretty careful about my health." "Really?" Beaker asked politely. He chuckled briefly, lit another of his own smokes, and then spoke softly. "I would like your complete attention, Hunter. Do I have it?" "Yeah, sure, He cut him off, his voice a roar. "In case you hadn't noticed, there's a war going on. A war, Hunter. You understand that? You ain't gonna live much longer anyway. Get with the program, mister, now." Hunter's eyes bugged out, but as Beaker finished, he forced himself to speak. "I know that. I can see that. It don't mean I have to die, though. Not necessarily." "Man, Beak, don't waste your time. He's hopeless. Same old thing, like Simpson. Like all those guys before Simpson," Ronson said. Beaker drew a deep breath, winked at Ronson, and then spoke. "Yes, it does," Beaker said calmly. "It does because you ain't a regular. You ain't been here long enough, and you don't mean anything to anybody. And that sucks, but that's life, Hunter." He paused and looked over at Ronson. "How long was the last one?" 14 days, am I right?" "As rain," Ronson replied coolly. And where are we now? Beaker asked. 17, Phillips asked. Uh-huh. 18, man, remember? Bronson corrected. 18, man, remember? Simpson bought it 18 days ago, and this asshole came into play. Replacement, supposedly. Right, Beaker said, it is 18. And that's why nobody cares about you, Hunter. 18's too far. You'll be done at 20. It never goes past that. And I'll bet bullets to bodies you'll buy the farm long before we're done with 18. See? No, Hunter said slowly. I don't see. 17, 18? What the hell was all that about, he wondered. Bronson chuckled. I think he's confused again, Beak. I think he was born confused, Phillips added. 17, 18, Hunter asked aloud. He didn't get it. Not completely, anyway. Have a cigarette, Beaker told him. I told you I don't. Yeah, right. Screw that noise. There's a pack inside your jacket. Check it. See if I'm right. Hunter fumbled with the jacket snaps and finally pulled the jacket open. A half-pack of smokes resided in the inside pocket, a silver Zippo tucked in beside them. He looked up with amazement. So, Beaker asked, smiling widely. One of you guys stuck them in there while I was sleeping. Has to be, Hunter said. And when was that? Hunter thought about it. He looked over at Beaker. Beaker just smiled. Don't you get it yet, Hunter? Don't you feel like an extra in a play? Blue chip? Volunteer for SSV 2765? Wow. They must have zonked your brain, man. Look, it was hard for Simpson, too. And he was with us for 20 days, and you know what? I like that sucker. He was all right for a white dude. All you guys show up combat ready, except you're all messed up in the head. No idea what to expect or even where you are. It ain't supposed to be that way, so we always have to lay it out for you. You're one of them. Super soldiers. We call it overclocked. You're gonna get dead. And you know what? Then you're gonna come back. Don't ask me what the hell is in that stuff they give you. All I know is you'll get dead, and then you'll come back from it, and they'll ship you out. That booster shot? It ain't exactly a booster shot. I don't know what exactly it is, but once you're gone, I know this. It'll bring you back. Yeah, back. In the beginning, some didn't come back. It don't matter, though, 'cause they come and got them, too. But the last several months, they, all of you, come back. Dead, and then you're not. And then they're here, and you're gone. And then in a few days, some other waste of space shows up in a supply drop. What? A supply drop? Hunter asked. Oh yeah, supply drop. Wrapped up like a douche, man. Beak, man, that line was really revved up like a deuce, Bronson said. Okay, bad analogy. I hate that song anyway, I always did. But you guys come wrapped up like a package, man. We unwrap you, and you're alive. You're not moving or anything, but you're alive. We leave you be for a little while, and next thing you know, you're sitting up. And pretty soon you're walking and talking. Yeah, boy. Really freaky stuff, Phillips said. Mucho freaky. Hunter swallowed hard, lit up one of the smokes from his jacket, and leaned back against the side of the hut. The silence held. So, Beaker finished quietly, you gotta deal with it, man. You just got to. It won't be long.